My name is Pamela Parker. I am a judge with the California Superior Court in San Diego County. I am so pleased to be with you here at this event honoring my dear friend, Bonny Sweeney. Bonny and I go way back, at least 25 years. We first met when Bonny was considering joining the firm where I worked, that was then known as Milberg Weiss. Before accepting the offer, Bonny wanted to speak with a woman colleague, I think in part to learn what the work-life balance was for someone raising a young family who had a very demanding job. We met for lunch and we talked for a very long time. I gave her the full skinny on the firm, the good and the not so good. I was afraid I might have scared her off, but happily she decided to join the firm, and that was the start of a beautiful friendship. I did not have the opportunity to work closely with Bonny professionally, as she was in Antitrust and my practice focused on environmental, consumer law, and appellate work. But that did not stop us from enjoying some wonderful times together. At work, we celebrated our victories, we shared the pain of our losses, and we commiserated about the unfairness and injustices still all too present for women in the legal profession at that time. Outside the firm, Bonny and I learned that we had much in common: similar life philosophies, a love of the outdoors, and of all kinds of activities, and also of good wine. She was a tremendous support to me when I made the decision to leave the firm before my appointment to the bench. I hope I was as much a support to her when she came to the point of having to make a similar decision, and she had any one of a number of exciting opportunities to choose from. I came to admire Bonny for her sharp intellect, her grasp of complex legal principles, and her creative legal strategizing. There seemed no challenge that Bonny was not willing to take on, whether it was an innovative new case or hiking up Mount Rainier. She has found great success in all her endeavors. In fact, I don't know of anything Bonny has not succeeded at once she put her mind to it. Well, actually, I have to take that back. There is one thing she didn't succeed at, and that was getting me hooked on the game of golf. Not for lack of trying, mind you. She did get me to a couple of lessons, but one thing or another got in the way of advancing my golf career. I'm so sorry, Bonny, but I do promise you that I will get out there with you at least once more in the near future. In the meantime, enjoy this moment and this very well-deserved honor, and thank you again for including me in this celebration.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leslie Weaver. I'm a partner at Blakemar, Fonte & Alt in Oakland, California. I specialize in consumer and antitrust class actions, and that's how I came to know Bonny Sweeney. I first met Bonny many years ago at a firm where, curiously, she was not the only person who had a name that sounded like she could be a lead character in a musical. That was many years ago, but there was never any question but that Bonny was a heroine protagonist, and she remains one. Bonny is a careful, thoughtful lawyer. She builds her cases brick by brick with no fanfare. She listens and responds to others, and that engages a dialectic that really drives strategy. It's very fun to work with her. She is respectful, she is restrained, and those are effective techniques because people lean forward to hear what Bonny has to say, and it's usually worth the listen. On a more personal level, I've looked up to Bonny for more than 20 years. She persists, and she was persisting before persistence was broadly recognized as an admirable attribute in a woman. She has risen to a very high level at her outstanding firm, which immediately recognized and rewarded her talents. We all walk our own paths, but we do walk them together as well. It's so affirming to see Bonny Sweeney's achievement recognized by the ABA. If anybody deserves to be included in a hall of fame or feminism, it's Bonny. Bonny, congratulations.
My name is Amelia Burroughs. I am a partner at the law firm of Jansen Malloy out of Eureka, California. And 20 years ago, I had the great fortune to be assigned to work for Bonny Sweeney. I was a new associate, Bonny was one of the only women partners in Antitrust at what was then Milberg Weiss. Bonny's work ethic has always been evident, but the real magic of Bonny is that it's not all about the work. To spend time with Bonny, in the office, on the road, you get to know the genuine person. And the genuine Bonny is somebody who has an indomitable sense of humor when things don't go as expected. It is somebody who stands her ground when other giants in the industry are applying immense pressure. It is somebody who makes raising children and litigating large class cases look effortless. And it's somebody who clearly loves deeply for her family and for her very wide circle of friends. Bonny's strength of character, though, makes the greatest impression. She is a decent, honorable woman in our profession, and I'm so very glad she's being honored in this way. Bonny, this award is hard-earned. It is well-deserved. Congratulations, and thank you for everything that you do.
This is Azra Mehti. I'm the founder of the Mehti firm, and I'm here today to speak a few words about Bonny Sweeney, who is being inducted into the Hall of Fame-inism. I've known Bonny over 2 decades. In fact, I worked under her when I was a baby lawyer. And that is the first thing that I would like to say about Bonny, is what a role model she was for me, becoming a more mature lawyer. Bonny's credentials as an antitrust lawyer are, they speak for themselves. I really don't need to go into it much. But what Bonny taught me, and what she was a role model for me, was how she trained and treated the junior lawyers that she worked with. She was kind and respectful and patient, and I have tried to emulate her as much as possible. The other part I want to talk about is Bonny the individual and Bonny the friend. Bonny is the kindest, most considerate and wonderful person, and I consider her a friend. And she's a hard worker, and there's no person better than Bonny, who has championed women's rights and always stood up for the women at the law firms that she's worked at. So this is an honor a long time in the coming. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak and give some insight into Bonny the friend. Thank you.
Thank you to the section, to Women Connected, to the co-chairs, Jody Williams and Gabrielle Kohlmeyer, and everyone else on the Women Connected team who made this award possible. I'm especially honored to be receiving this award alongside Lisa Phelan, Meg Guerin-Calvert, and Deborah Majoris, some of the luminaries in our field. When I found out I would be receiving this award, I thought first of my mother, who would have been really excited about this. My mother was not able to pursue her own dreams of going to college, but she raised her 3 girls to believe that we could do anything and we could be anything. So I'd like to thank my mother for making me believe that women's possibilities are limitless. I'd also like to thank my law school and college professors who believed in me and encouraged me, especially Bob Wong, who taught me Chinese and political science, and Professor Karen Nelson Moore, now a federal judge, who taught civil procedure and tax. Professor Moore was the best role model I could have possibly had. And I'd like to thank my family. Without the love and support of my sisters, Emmy Lou and Trina, who patiently talked me through professional angst, I wouldn't have been able to get as far as I have. My sons, Ben and Sam, who showed pride in my professional career in ways big and small, even though when they were young, I often had to travel and work long hours. And my husband, David, who not only shouldered the burden of raising a family when I worked long hours and had to travel, but supported me in every one of my professional choices. So thank you. I've also been fortunate to have had some great mentors over my career, both men and women. I still hear the voice of my first boss, Sandra Lynch, now a federal judge, every time I write something. Judge Lynch has a fierce intellect and is a great writer, and I am a better writer for having her voice in my head when I write. Dennis Stewart and Len Simon introduced me to the most interesting law practice on the planet and encouraged my growth as a lawyer. My women colleagues, especially at my former law firm, Judge Parker, Azra Mehti, Alreen Hayquist, Leslie Weaver, and Amelia Burroughs, were my bulwark. And many thanks to Michael Hausfeld and all my colleagues at Hausfeld who gave me a new home and entrusted me with leadership roles shortly after I arrived. Progress for women in the legal profession has been slow, and we've seen setbacks in recent years. The ABA report by Scharf and Liebenberg reveals that even though women are entering law firms roughly at parity with men, they aren't staying. Only 30% of partners, non-equity partners in large law firms are women, and only 20% of equity partners are women. Experienced women are leaving law firms in large numbers. They report that they are more likely to be passed over for advancement, for salary increases, for bonuses, and for business development opportunities. We also know that in COVID-19, women are much more likely to leave the workforce than men. According to one study, women are 8 times more likely than men to be leaving the workforce right now. So in short, there is much work to be done. But in the 25 years that I have been lucky enough to call the antitrust practice my home, I have witnessed a sea change. It used to be that I was one of a few, or sometimes even the only woman in a leadership position in antitrust MDL cases. I remember going to hearings that were attended by 100 or more lawyers, and during breaks I would have the bathroom all to myself. But not anymore. Now I have to wait in line. Women are serving in leadership positions in law firms, in MDLs, and on case teams in a way that they were not when I joined this practice. Thanks in part to organizations like Women Connected, law firms are working harder to promote women, to appoint women to positions of leadership, and to retain women. Moreover, clients and courts are insisting on diversity in legal teams and in court appointments. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said that women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. Thank you for this award, and thank you for helping to make women who lead unexceptional.